You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports 2. Let's talk about Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Now, we'll just start this by saying there is some sentiment out there that Sean Payton may choose not to coach anywhere this next year. That he might wait, stay at Fox Sports, and wait for the next cycle next year. However, we do believe that money in this situation could end up talking, and I believe the main feeling right now is that the Denver Broncos are leading the way. Why? Because they're deep in Walmart money, right? Basically, they can pay the $20 to $25 million a year that Sean Payton is wanting to come back out of Fox Sports. And they do have one draft pick that they got in the Bradley Chubb trade that they can send to the New Orleans Saints to get Sean Payton. And I think maybe, look, the Jacksonville Jaguars is kind of shown some people some things this year. You can come back very quickly after a bad hire. They hired Urban Meyer. It was a dumpster fire of monumental proportions. They said, no, you know what? Let's come back. Let's get a coach that's won a Super Bowl, an offensive-minded coach in Doug Peterson, and that's paid off. I mean, they turned that team around in 1 year, and today, here the Jaguars are against the Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs, right? And, of course, there's the issue of they need a QB guru because of this investment, this high-dollar contract into Russell Wilson. By the way, Russell Wilson has reached out to Sean Payton. So, I've got multiple stories here. We'll go over all of them. This is Larry Brown Sports on this one. They do believe it's down to two teams. The other one is the Carolina Panthers. Why? Because David Tepper is loaded. Okay, he is loaded. He's not Walmart loaded like the Denver Broncos, but he's loaded. Let me also mention, I did a video on this the other day. The Chargers have screwed this so up by being cheap. Staley should be getting the axe right now, and Sean Payton should already be the new coach of the Chargers. They're too cheap. They're not going to do it. Sean Payton, and you've got Justin Herbert. Anybody get the feeling Justin Herbert, we're going to look up and it's going to be like a Dan Marino situation? You know, all-time great talent, no rings. Sean Payton is viewed as a strong candidate for just about every NFL coaching vacancy, but his decision may ultimately come down to two teams. Jordan Schultz of The Score told the Pat McAfee Show on Friday that he thinks the Broncos and Panthers are the likely suitors for Payton. The 59-year-old coach is said to be seeking somewhere in the range of $20 to $25 million annually, and both teams seem very willing to give it to him, the money, and surrender the necessary draft picks. You know, Carolina's an underrated job, and somebody brought up Tom Brady to Carolina the other day, and I was like, wow, that makes all the sense in the world. Weak division, great defense, some good offensive weapons on that team. DJ Moore's at wide receiver out there. It did. It made some sense for Tom Brady. It did. And we know that him and Sean Payton are pretty tight. The asking price is enormous. It's at least one first-round pick, and I can confirm he wants at least $20 million per year. Somebody's going to pay it to him. David Tepper, the Panthers owner, would go all in and basically do anything that Sean Payton wanted to get him. That's how badly the Panthers want him. He's got an interview with the Panthers this coming Monday. The question is, can they pry him away from Denver? And those are the top two. The Cardinals, Texans have been talking to him. I know that he feels like that ownership is very important here, and let's be honest, the Bidwells, the McNairs, probably kind of a dumpster fire from an ownership standpoint. Then there's Tom Pelissero, who's one of the best in the business as far as being one of these insiders, right? And he come out and said everything is lining up for the Broncos to hire Sean Payton. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported while the parties were meeting that, quote, everything is lining up for Payton to become the 19th head coach in franchise history. He's already spoken to the Texans. He's going to speak with the Panthers, Pelissero said on The Insiders. It sure seemed like, though, if Payton is going to take a job in this cycle, everything's lining up for Denver. Now, Colin Cowherd was saying he had dinner with Payton the other night. They're kind of tight, actually. He come out and said Payton was very impressed by the Broncos ownership. I mean, Condoleezza Rice was in that ownership meeting the other day, and that they were both sort of, I guess, equally blown away by each other. The owners were blown away by Sean Payton. I'm sure that's not too hard to do considering that Nathaniel Hackett was your coach, and that Payton was equally impressed by the ownership. Now, there's the quarterback. And the quarterback, and at least Russell Wilson is this self-aware, he needs Sean Payton. And he has reached out to Sean Payton and told him, I need you, I want you to be the next head coach of the Broncos. Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson would apparently like to ride with Sean Payton as his next head coach. That's at least according to Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports, who said during Thursday's episode of The Herd that Wilson has reached out to Payton to make his feelings known. Quote, Russell Wilson has contacted Sean, legally, by the way, through channels. Cowherd said he wants Sean Payton. He needs fixing. He knows he needs fixing. I give Russell credit for that. Cowherd also noted that he's talked with his current Fox co-worker, Payton, about the Broncos' job with the understanding that many believe Wilson is, quote, too isolated within the Denver building. Wilson's first season with the Broncos was the worst of his career. He completed 60.5% of his passes. That won't work in today's NFL. 3,524 yards, 16 TDs, 11 picks. That also won't work in the NFL. Wow. And he led the league by taking 55 sacks. I didn't realize that. So that's where Sean Payton stands right now. It looks like it's the Broncos. Okay, if he's going to take a job, it looks like it's the Broncos. But the official interview with the Panthers is Monday. It was going to be either Thursday or Friday, but Tepper owns the MLS, I guess, soccer club in Carolina. And they had a death in that organization, one of the players, I believe. And Tepper had to postpone the meeting with Payton to, I guess, attend the services of the player. As well he should, right? That's the right thing to do there. It is. But, you know, at least the Texans and the Cardinals had the wherewithal to at least talk to Payton. I still can't believe the Chargers have handled this the way that they have. And you got to wonder, deep down in the bowels of the brain matter that Jerry Jones has, Sean Payton has always been the coach he has wanted for this team for the last 7, 8, 9 years. That's been one of the worst kept secrets in all of the NFL. At one time, there was a trade worked out to get Sean Payton, and then Anthony Davis left New Orleans. And if you ever get a chance, read Mike Florio's book. He tells that story that Sean Payton was set to be the Cowboys coach. And when Anthony Davis, and it was going to, by the way, be announced the very day that Anthony Davis was moved out of New Orleans. And New Orleans ownership was like, we can't remove Anthony Davis from this city and in the same day, in the same year, let this city lose Sean Payton on top of it. And they backed out. So, somewhere, somehow, especially if, and you got to wonder, and it could happen, the Cowboys play the 49ers tomorrow. Okay, there's a sentiment that look, the Cowboys could play the Niners tough and maybe even upset them. But there's also a sentiment that the Cowboys could lose. That the Cowboys could lose by 30. That's a thing too. All right, and so if the Cowboys were to get blown out, you have to wonder: is Jerry Jones going to come out of nowhere on Sean Payton, because this has been his guy, and decide to let Mike McCarthy go and take a run at Sean? I'm just putting that out there. Most of us, I think, believe the Niners will win that game against the Cowboys. Cowboys look pretty tough, though. But I'm just saying, that's got to be in the back of everybody's mind. If the Cowboys were to get blown out and get embarrassed by the Niners, say it ends up being 42-20, would Jerry make a different decision, spur of the moment on head coach, knowing that Sean Payton is rolling around out there? Because they're very tight. I don't know. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First. 25% off USA First. Go now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.